So you've booked your first job for photography or videography, or maybe it's your 50th job, or maybe you've been doing it for 30 years. Whichever the way it is, there's a list of preparation that you need to go through before any job, just to make sure that it's going to be as easy for you as possible, and make sure it's going to be fun, and make sure that you're going to be able to achieve exactly what it is that you set out to achieve. So the first thing is planning. Get a brief and get a contract. I have to admit that when I first started working, I didn't get a contract anything like as often as I should have done, and thankfully it never caused me any major problems, but it's something I realised just will protect me and will protect the clients. So get a contract. There are loads of places on the internet that you can find example contracts, just to make sure that everything is completely set out. Make sure that you know exactly what you're expecting and you know exactly what the client is expecting. And by extension of that, get a brief from the client as well and discuss the brief with the client. It's all well and good doing it via email, but actually even better if you get to go and talk to the person. If you can actually go and have a conversation with them and work out exactly what it is that they're expecting you to be able to provide, it will give you a better idea of what is expected of you. And when you actually make it, it will make everything easier as well. So the brief should cover where it's going to be, what's going to be involved, and what they're expecting, and the contract should set out everything that you require as well. So in a lot of cases, people just set out what the client is expecting, but you need to make sure that what you're expecting is covered as well. If you're shooting a wedding, you need to know exactly what shots are wanted. You need to know exactly who's going to be there. If Aunt Margaret from Canada is coming over and won't be seen again for another 10 years, you need to know exactly who she is to make sure that you can get that picture. It's no good waiting until after the wedding and thinking, I didn't get that picture. So have a chat, set out with them that maybe somebody will be on hand for you throughout the day to be able to say, yes, that's Aunt Margaret over there. And just make sure that everything is all covered. An extension of the brief is actually just making sure there's a backup plan, because sometimes things don't go to plan. If it's a wedding, it might be raining. If it's a shoot indoors, the lights might be flickering, or the power might be difficult, or there might be somebody building next door and the noise is going to be unbearable. So think about what your options are if the situation isn't exactly what you're expecting, or it's not what the client is expecting. So make sure that you have options available to you. Once you've got your plan, once you've got your brief, you'll know what gear you need to take with you. And that's a really important step. Have a look at what gear you're likely to need. There will be some things that you just don't need to take with you. There will be some things that you must take with you. And that will vary from job to job. I have a huge selection of gear that I just take what I need for each job. But I always tend to err on the side of caution. If there's something which I might need, I will take it. If there's something I know I don't need, then I definitely won't take it. The worst situation is to be somewhere and be offered an opportunity to improve, to add value to the contract, and actually you can't provide it because you've left that bit of kit at home. So work out exactly what you need to take, and then make sure it's all prepared. So charge every battery, including the one in the camera. It's so often that I leave the one in the camera in from a previous job, and I get there and the first thing I have to do is switch out the batteries straight away, so I'm down a spare immediately. Check your memory cards, format your memory cards, because actually they are vital. Take some spare memory cards with you, and please, for goodness sake, remember to take your memory cards. I had one horrific job, one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever had, where I'd taken the memory card out of the computer, having uploaded everything. I had left it on the side and then went out for the job. I thought I'd got it already. When I got there, suddenly was in the situation where I realised I didn't have a memory card. Thankfully, I had a couple of spares in the car, so it wasn't too disastrous, but that moment, that gut-wrenching moment of getting there and realising I didn't have a card was just humiliating. Organise your gear in your bag as well, so you know where everything is in your bag and you know where everything should be, so that if you forget anything, you know that you've forgotten it straight away. This sounds like a really silly thing, but actually, if there's a lead that you've forgotten, if there's a memory card that you've forgotten, if there's a lens that you've forgotten, that you know exactly where it should be in the bag, you can look in the bag and know immediately it's not there, and you don't have to do that embarrassing scrabbling around, because all that does is shows the person that you're working for that you have forgotten it. If you can actually just immediately see that it's not there and work out a backup plan without having to alert anyone to it, you've still made the mistake, but at least no one's caught you in that mistake. So that's a really, really useful thing to be able to avoid. You don't want to have to let somebody know that you've nearly let them down. Then make sure that your lenses are clean, make sure that your filters are clean, make sure that you've got everything with you that you could possibly need to make sure that you're taking the right filters, make sure you're taking the right lenses. But otherwise, just make sure that everything in your bag is ready to go. This one might sound silly, but recheck your brief. The night before you're going, check over it again and make sure that you understand exactly what it is that is expected of you. It might be that you have a sudden stroke of genius reading through it and you think, actually there's a new shot, a new technique, something that you've learned only recently since you initially set out the brief that you want to try during that initial shot, and that's fantastic. Take that inspiration with you. So recheck it and know exactly what you're going to do. It will make sure that you feel more centered and more calm when you get there, because you will know exactly what is expected of you. I spoke to a photographer recently who's been taking pictures for 30 years, and he says he still has that moment before the shoot thinking, am I going to be able to provide exactly what it is they want? And you will, because that's your skill as a photographer. You are a good photographer, that's why they've hired you. But just to make sure that your mind is settled, check exactly what it is that you're expecting to do the day before you do it, just so you've got that detail exactly there. And finally, and this sounds cheesy, and it is a little bit cheesy, but have fun, enjoy yourself, actually enjoy the shoot. If you've done all of this preparation, this is designed to take the stress out of the actual shoot itself and put it beforehand. So all of the preparation is not designed to stress you out, it's just designed to say, once you've done all of that, you know that you can go there and actually enjoy the shoot. If you're enjoying what you're doing, it's going to be much easier. There's that old saying, if you enjoy your job, you'll never work a day in your life. And that might be cheesy, but it's true. So make sure that you make your life as easy as possible by doing all this preparation. Enjoy the shoot, because actually that's what you're there to do. This is a whole series of videos that I've got on improving your videography, improving your photography, being able to take this in the direction of a business. So please subscribe to keep up to date with everything that's going on in this series, and enjoy the shoot.